The Cognitive Theoretic Model of the universe is said to be absolute truth. What is the proof of the CTMU? According to Langen, the CTMU is proved by logical induction. Basically, we start with irrefutable components of knowledge, perception on the one hand, and the binary logic on the other hand. These components of knowledge are self-evident from our own experience of reality. Even cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am, involves perception of self and the use of binary logic. Binary logic is what we use to assign any value to our perception. In the case of cogito ergo sum, binary logic assigns truth to the perception that we exist. Having these two components, perception and logic, logical induction minimally extends the linguistic structure of knowledge until we arrive to a point where perception and logic merge and reliably coexist together. If perception and logic are not coupled and reliable, then our system of knowledge does not provide ground for knowledge to exist. It would be blind to itself and self-refuting. Logic and perception need to be embedded in a linguistic model, mapping them within the model and to each other. Langen builds the CTMU with definition of linguistic tautological structures in which perception and logic are consistently mapped. Because these components are essential to human cognition, and because the CTMU provides a tautological structure, Langen says the CTMU is super-tautological. It is the truth behind all truth, and it becomes inescapable. Either humans pretend that no knowledge exists, or they have to accept the CTMU. According to Langen, the simple, stable perception that an object is or is not in front of you is a knowledge statement deep enough that it implies the CTMU. It would mean nothing to say that an object is truly perceived if no linguistic system provided reliable ground to perception and logic, which is what the CTMU does. We have seen such systems embedding perception and logic in rational edifices. Immanuel Kant, in its critique of pure reason, revolutionized Western thought by presenting a tight connection between the world, perception, and logical knowledge. In Kant's system, objects perceived are obeying the rules of our intuition of space and time. These intuitions admit schemas allowing concepts about intuitions to be produced by the understanding. Finally, reason, in its thirst for knowledge, use the concepts of the understanding to question and decide what to do or think. Kant's system, same as Langen's, provided a theory of knowledge, embedding and tying together perception and logic, thus providing solid ground for knowledge. The objects perceived by us in Kant's system share structure with our minds and knowledge, and so knowledge from perception is reliable, successful, and has ground to exist. Kant's remarkable work responded to the radical skeptical empiricism of Hume with a self-justifying rational edifice, giving solid ground to the scientific knowledge. But where language is a game, Langen describes the game of reality itself. Kant, although claiming to give a ground to knowledge, only covers what he calls the phenomena, while the noumena remains unknowable. Langen is not satisfied with that. If noumena is real, says Langen, then it would have real perceptual consequences on the thing that we perceive and know. The phenomena could be disturbed by the noumena. As a consequence, the edifice of knowledge of Kant would be at the mercy of the unknowable. Noumena is the fatal flaw of Kant's rational edifice. No knowledge can be reliable if it is at the mercy of the unknowable. Kant failed to provide a solid ground for knowledge. By extending the scope of his investigation to all of reality, Langen still finds tautological rules and structure that serve as the basis for rational investigation and a merging of perception and logic. Once tautological rules of knowledge are found for reality entire, Langen says that the quest for the metaphysics of knowledge is over. There is no gap remaining for speculation, only a self-referential truth that will source all subsequent knowledge. His discovery reveals the flaws of Kant philosophy, while outlining again the deep need to ground science and knowledge on a linguistic structure in which perception and logic are tightly bound together. According to Langen, the CTMU is not amenable to revision. The CTMU is not about learning the specific games being played within reality right now. It is about the structure of reality itself. It is valid whatever the game is being played. The proof of the CTMU is not about predicting the next move. It would be hard to do so because the CTMU grants creative freedom to entities within the CTMU. The CTMU gives a new, reliable place for any rational thought and theory to exist because it minimally extends logic and perception to a reliable and uniquely exhaustive system of knowledge. It gives a rational edifice for both logic and perception and protected that edifice from any external source that might shake its foundation. The CTMU, by its minimalistic assumption and universal scope, is like a singularity or black hole that will absorb all rational theory of knowledge. Either humans pretend that they have no knowledge, or they have to place them in the CTMU to make them valid. But the CTMU extends to any human perception of knowledge, covering the entire reality itself. Therefore, the CTMU is proven and irrefutable. The CTMU is rationality giving itself a model and realizing that it includes all of reality. Any rational endeavors aiming to provide ground for itself is found included within the CTMU and unable to escape its all-encompassing structure. By giving a new interpretation of all human knowledge, Langen provides ground for the scientific discoveries, the concept of the will of God, but also claims to be a singularity that will change all known religions. Faith is about something, says Langen. It does not escape the system of human interpretation. Because people need to know what they have faith about, Langen says even the content of faith is constrained by the CTMU. The CTMU is a meta-religion, says Langen. It is not built on faith alone like many ordinary religions, nor on empirical science alone like the religion of humanity of Auguste Comte, for example. By Langen estimate, just as perception and logic merge, faith and logic too must merge. Finally, where the CTMU is all-encompassing and equivalent to reality, the proof of the CTMU is reality itself, where the specific linguistic breakdown of the CTMU by Langen is understood as the rational self-identification of reality. Reality talking to itself about itself.